commercial landfills in Colorado have been advised that disposal of oil and gas exploration and production EP waste is not exempt from Colorado Solid Waste Regulations 1. For example, 6 CCR 10072, disposal of fracking waste is a nationwide problem. Fracking's vertical-horizontal drill tailings, flowback-produced water, scale, and filter socks are all almost certainly radioactive at levels unacceptable for ordinary landfills. Pipe and tank scale exceed acceptable release levels, the most due to their continuous buildup of waste too. Each oil well completion destroys from 5 to 10 million gallons of fresh water. Siam, July 2015 permanently removes it from the hydrologic cycle by deep injection. Waste at disposal wells the lesser value if recycled once. Such injection is necessary because frack wastewater is radioactive and otherwise dangerously polluted. Benzene, biocides, formaldehyde, etc. Local operators may or may not use filter socks, thus recycle their frack water. Water recycling is a typical claim, however, to deflect criticism of egregiously wasteful practices in a water-sensitive region. The problem operators are likely dumping EP waste at radiation levels highly in excess of TENORM technically enhanced, normally occurring radioactive materials guidelines. This has recently prompted CDPHE's concern. CDPHE approves radioactive releases at commercial landfills. COGCC at land spreads. Both claim it is the responsibility of ordinary waste recipients to guarantee that TENORM standards are being met. Acceptable release levels for radium, for example, must be below 3 pCIGM3. Official corrective action should be taken per the federal AAL or analytic action level for releases at levels greater than 210 pCIGM. Landfills and land spreads apparently have been relying on the measurements of operators, who, in turn, justify their releases per a COGCC 2014 study. That study, however, used a discredited measuring testing protocol 5. As a result, operators are typically under-measuring by at least factors of 100. Indeed, Table 1 of the Gradient Corporation study cited above cites a measurement of radium in radioactive tank sludge at 1,293 pCIGM, well above the tenor-molod release level of 3 pCIGM. TENORM standards will require accurate testing for each radioactive dump load since radiation levels differ for each waste category and change over the large distances 2 to 3 miles that a drilling pad spacing unit comprises. Frack waste's radioactivity derives, in part, from the alpha-active norm elements uranium-U, thorium-TH, and radium-Ra, which cannot be quantitatively measured, only detected, via the conventional Geiger-type or gamma measuring devices operators have been using to justify their radioactive releases. A principal radiation danger of frack waste arises from ingestion of its alpha sources. Although alpha particle radiation cannot even penetrate one's skin, it can, once inside lungs and other internal organs, cause cancer. Radium is alpha active, water-soluble, and bone-seeking. Ra-226 remains a threat for thousands of years, has a half-life of 1,600 years. It can become airborne in dust from drill sites, uncovered transport trucks, disposal landfills and field spreads. It can migrate from topsoil spills into groundwater. Assessments conducted by operators have greatly undermeasured alpha radiation because they were done on wet frack waste containing high total dissolved solids (TDS) such as salts. It takes a special test for radioactivity in frack water. The common drinking water test fails. Raw levels can be underestimated by 99%. Environ. Sci. Technal. Let 2014, DOI 10.1021 EZ 5,379, Michael K. Schultz, professor of radiology, U of Iowa, showed EPA's drinking water test is unsuitable for frack water's high TDS concentration of ions. Indeed, the co-precipitation method of the EPA's 900 series protocol accounts for less than 1% of the Ra present. Accordingly, Avner Ben-Gosh, geochemist, Duke U, urges that Ra be measured in frack water directly with gamma-ray spectroscopy. Chemical and Engineering News ISSN 00092347, copyright at 2017 American Chemical Society. The EPA Method 900 series protocol simply doesn't work in high salt solutions. Even in treated frack water, Ra levels can measure 200 times higher when proper protocols are used. The 21-day holding period of 900 series protocol is also inadequate. See also, analysis of radium-226 in high salinity wastewater from unconventional gas extraction by inductively coupled plasma mass spectrometry. T. Zhang, Department of Geology and Planetary Science, U of Pittsburgh, Environ. Sci. Technol, 2015, 495 pp 29,692,976. Zhang outlines a method that requires only a severe Laur holding period, and it matches gamma spectrometry results. Using EPA's 900 series measuring protocol allows dumping of large quantities of dangerously radioactive waste into landfills, according to Frack Alliance, a journal of ENV and Occupational Health Policy, publication 23I 11735 doi 10.2190 nanoseconds 23.1.h. Analyzed Fracking's reserve pit sludge. It found total beta radiation of 1329 pCig in Barnett shale sludge, which exceeded Texas regulatory guidelines by more than 800%. Accurate radiation measurements of frack waste require an expensive spectrometry device 6 and at least a 21-day holding period, which an ordinary landfill will not find practical. The cost of independent, third-party safety measurements of radiation should be borne by the operator. How has the state of Colorado dealt with these 201,415 findings and revelations on radioactive EP waste? In November 2014, the Colorado Oil and Gas Conservation Commission (COGCC) completed its Special Project 2136, analysis of Norman drill cuttings, Greater Wattenberg Field, Weld County, Colorado. It was to provide regulatory oversight and guidance regarding TENORM. 12 samples of drill cuttings were compared to 12 background samples of soil using a procedure described in Sampling and Analysis Plan for Norman Oil and Gas Well Drill Cuttings (COGCC 2014). A gamma ray meter was used to identify presence and degree of Norman cuttings, which is noted above will not quantitatively measure important alpha activity in radioactive waste. COGCC staff found no drill cuttings exceeded their background sample levels of radiation, thus concluded that the beneficial reuse of drill cuttings as an agricultural soils amendment does not pose impacts from radiation. The problem with this COGCC sampling, the inappropriate EPA 900 series protocol was used with no holding times for gross alpha solids necessary to account for daughter radiation. Also, the 900 series protocol for drinking water was used for gross alpha aqueous, inappropriate for high TDS, but this time with adequate holding time, otherwise the testing was meticulously performed. Several of the commercial labs that were cited as testing sources by state agencies and operators were contacted to determine their protocols. None answered. Colorado state agencies, however, continue to accept the discredited EPA 900 series testing protocol. A more realistic, and better referenced, assessment of TENORM in fracking waste was completed October 3, 2017 by Gradient Corporation, retained by Pawnee Waste, LLC. C2, it reviewed publicly available information on the levels of radioactivity in benzene found in EP wastes from oil and gas shale formations in Colorado in the context of CDPHE's administration levels for TENORM. Gradient found that radiation data from Colorado are similar to other areas of oil development across the U.S., even in Poland, thereby greatly increasing the amount of data in support of their assessments. Radioactivity from radium-226, radium-228 for drill cuttings consistently measured within the range 0.10713.6 pCig, with Colorado's level at 7.42 pCig, thus above the maximum TENORM administrative release level of 3 pCig. The testing protocol was not disclosed. Gradient further stated that the oil and gas industry has known for decades that pipe and tank scale may have activity as high as 410,000 pCig. White-and-Rude, 2001 reference therein, a Gradient Corporation reference found soils impacted by scale cleaning operations. Wilson and Scott, 1992 tested from 6.75 to 1,681 pCig, thus considerably exceeded CDPHE administrative levels for radioactivity. Filtration wastes, sludge, and some solids exhibited radioactivity levels between those of drill cuttings and scale. Gradient cited references that found benzene and crude oil in excess of the COGCC standard by a factor of 86 to 212. The available data indicate that EP wastes are likely to exceed the COGCC standard for BTEX benzene, toluene, ethylbenzene, and total xylenes. See Table 2. Conclusion: with accurate measuring protocols and holding periods, ordinary landfill-targeted frac waste cannot meet the TENORM standards needed to protect public health. Indeed, radiation levels are being underestimated by factors of 100 to 1,000 for scale. It is clearly inappropriately legal to land dump BP waste. Thus, TENORM land dumping should be stopped until COGCC CDPHE rules comply with current knowledge. In the meantime, operators must find approved disposal sites in order to continue operation. Notes. 1. Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment CDPHE, Notice to Landfills, TENORM, May 12, 2017 rescinded in favor of management and disposal of TENORM generated by oil and gas exploration and production, in November 7, 2017. 2. Gradient Corporation's Memorandum to Pawnee Waste, LLC, October 3, 2017, Subject, Radioactivity and BETX in Shale Oil and Shale Gas Exploration and Production Wastes, http www.pawneewaste.com. Content uploads 2017-10 Gradient Memo _2017_10_03.pdf3 C1 where release levels are U less than 30 pci/gm, Ra 226,228 and Th less than 3 pci/gm. The analytic action level AAL or level at which action must be taken is 210 pci/gm. 4. Sampling and Analysis Plan for Naturally Occurring Radioactive Material in Oil and Gas Well Drill Cuttings, COGCC April, 2014. 5. ENV Health Perspectives, the 2nd of April 2016 by A. Nelson and M. Schultz. Also, http pubs.ax.org UP 10.1021 ax.estlit.6b004396. C5.